Hey, everybody, this is Barry Mankin here with the Holistic Home Health Podcast. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee with Dani Williamson, and we're going to do our part 2 of our series that we've got on wellness and building that bridge between the environmental community and the medical community. Dani, thank you so much for coming back again.
Oh, man, I'm excited. This will be fun.
Yeah.
And it's already been fun.
Yeah, and ironically, we have the same clothes on we had from the first episode.
Can you believe that? I know.
It's been a week.
I know.
How did that happen?
Well, you know, I'm all about simplicity. Keep it simple.
Just as a little nod to you and a little way that we can honor you, as I'm taking notes, I've got my little guy with the same hair, with the crazy hair.
There you go.
That happens to be red as well. So I'm just saying.
I love it.
I may just give this to you as a gift when we're done.
That's really how I look when I wake up in the morning. So, or if I don't use conditioner, they say, "Oh, just let it go." I'm like, I look like one of those woolly sheep.
We had such a good time on the first series talking about a lot of the broad stroke stuff.
Right.
And your philosophy.
Yes.
How you what you're doing in your business and how it's grown and all the different things that you offer now, which is fantastic. And then we'll also talk about, before we get done today, we're going to talk about your book that you've had out for, how many years has it been?
4 years.
4 years now. Wealth of information on that book. Wonderful story as well and how you got here. And let's get a little bit into the weeds as far as like your process.
Sure.
When you have that ideal client that comes in and say, you know, maybe you're trying to figure out, all right, are these environmental concerns or not? Do they stay in our network or does it go outside of our network? What are some of those things that you look for when you're dealing with your typical thyroid patient?
Absolutely. So I've narrowed my niche down through the years, right? Because even though I'm family practice, I don't believe you can be all things to all people. So thyroid, basically it's an endocrine practice, thyroid, adrenals, hormones, and then gut, because the gut affects 75 to 80% of everything happening with you. So when they come in the door, they are one of those patients already. And a typical appointment, typical patient looks like, you know, we got an hour and a half with them. And I dig deep. I mean, it's a big packet from their childhood. I'm looking at their childhood trauma, right? And I ask them about their diet and their sleep and their exercise, their pooping, their sex. I mean, do you have a libido? Because it's huge when we're dealing with hormones and thyroid as well.
Right.
And, you know, I draw a lot of blood work. So we draw a lot of blood on that first visit, looking at all of these biomarkers. I do food sensitivity, food allergy testing on the very first visit if they can afford it, because they don't take insurance. The company doesn't take insurance. Yeah. So, you know, and that's a $400 test, and not everybody can do that.
Right.
But we do that because that turned my entire world around 15 years ago, and I knew what I was eating, and it can be good food. You could be eating avocados or bananas, and it's really hurting you, right? We already know the top 7: gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, peanuts, sugar, that affect most people. And so we do that. But then I pull blood work. I look at their thyroid, their full thyroid panel, plus their thyroid antibodies, right? Their thyroid globulin, their thyroid peroxidase antibodies. We either rule in or rule out Hashimoto's thyroiditis on the very first visit, because a lot of patients come in and don't know they have it, right? And so we rule it in or out. It's the number one undiagnosed autoimmune disease in the United States. Hashimoto's is.
Right.
We do a full thyroid panel looking at everything from pregnenolone that nobody's ever heard of to DHEA, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, you know, your D3s, your magnesiums, iodine, B12, omegas. We do a full workup from the Cleveland Clinic called the Omega Check and it looks at the omegas. If you're not taking fish oil, well, if you're eating a lot of fish, how's it converting in your body, right? Omega 3s and 6s and 9s. And then, you know, we do a full cholesterol panel if they don't have a primary care provider. Now, they're supposed to have a primary care provider, but many of them don't. And that's how we start. And the first visit, between when I see them on the first visit and the follow-up, they are doing a 10-day detox.
Okay.
My 10-day detox that we do that's been around for 55 years, a Mediterranean diet, cutting out the top 7 foods, red meat and pork. It's a big, detailed 10 days. You talk about feeling good. It's a very detailed liver detox. And then they transition into eliminating just those 7 foods for 21 days. So when I see them back, if they have done even half of what I need them to do, they feel so good
Right.
that they're not emotional when they get that food sensitivity result back, because that's emotional.
That's smart. Yep.
We eat the same thing every day, and we're not designed to do that. We're designed for diversity. So it is smart. And then we go, well, I only learned it because of my own issues, so it worked out, great. And then we go over their labs, right? And that's the basic stuff. And then I work with them. Okay, they're already feeling better. But if they come back in 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, it depends. Everyone's different. That's personalized medicine, right? It's not cookie cutter. So say we come back in 3 months. They're a little bit better, but they're not great. Their thyroid's optimal. Their hormones are good. That's when we then start digging in more stool studies, looking at a 3-day stool test where you poop and scoop for 3 days, not just a 1-day stool study.
Right.
3 days, you're more likely to catch parasites and yeast and dysbiosis, bad bacteria, right? And inflammatory markers. Then we'll look at adrenals, cortisol testing, right? That's a spit test. And doctors don't believe in adrenal fatigue, right? It's poo-poo. It's not, no, adrenals don't get fatigued. Oh, yes, they do. So I call it adrenal dysfunction. So we can do an adrenal test if we need to. And we look at nutrient testing, like big nutrient testing that really looks at hundreds of nutrients, from glutathione to, an oat test looking at amino acids and things like that. So that's how I don't pile it all on at once, because it is emotional enough just telling patients. They go, what am I going to eat, Dani? I'm only eliminating 7 things.
Right.
And they say, it's everything I eat. I eat eggs every day. Well, eggs are the number 2 food allergy. So if they're not feeling better and we get all these diagnostics back, right? I don't run a test unless I'm going to do something about it. That's wasted money.
Yeah.
Right? So if we're going to run a stool test and do a stool test on you, then we're going to figure it out. But what I don't do is heavy metal, Lyme testing, mold testing. I don't do that.
Right.
And if I can't get them better, and they're not feeling better, and then we start digging even deeper, right? It's got to be something environmental in your house.
Right.
Maybe you've been bit by a tick. Maybe it's mold. That's when we get in our toolbox and we start bridging that community, right?
Yeah.
Bridging over to you, to a Lyme disease specialist, right? To heavy metal specialist in town. And we have those people.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. It sounds very similar. You're trying to create a baseline.
You bet. We got to have a baseline.
Yeah, but from different angles. So it's very similar to, honestly, to what we do in the house.
You bet.
We create from a microbial standpoint. We'll take some samples. We'll do a good investigation. It's kind of like when the doctor, comes in, hits you on the knee, and does a reflex.
That's right.
So we just got to kick the tires, if you will, and say, all right, how's the house? But it's so interesting to me how our industry has changed, or at least the way I think we should do it. It combines so many different inspection practices, and it mirrors a lot of what you all do for the body. And I'm a firm believer that if we treat the body and the house in the same way, from a diagnostic perspective to a solutions perspective, and with a holistic approach, with our network, because as an example, we don't do remediation.
That's right.
We don't do HVAC fixing. We don't do landscape stuff to stop water. We don't do any of that stuff, but I do what I do.
That's right. And who does the best HVAC fixing?
Exactly.
That's right.
Because all those systems work together for the health of the home.
You bet.
And much in the same way. So it's really interesting to me to see that the process is so similar to what we do. And I think, if we do that really, really well, and our process, because a lot of times I think when we ping pong back and forth, we'll get doctors that will have blood panels or something, or urine analysis, and they'll say, hey, I got something, go find it in my house. I'm like, well, okay. So we'll do the same process. And it's kind of like this little bit of a back and forth. And at some point we're narrowing in on things.
That's right. Yeah, it's like you're the center of your spoke there, of your wheel, right? I'm the center of our wheel, and then we've got all those bridges
Yeah.
going out, and it does take a village.
Yeah.
You know, if you think you're the end all be all for somebody, you are sadly mistaken. Most of the time you're not. Now, sometimes you hit the nail on the head, and holy cow, it's not like whack-a-mole. It's like whack-a-mole,
Right.
You know, right? We get one thing better. You know, my patient starts pooping better. She's doing great. She doesn't have gas anymore. Her husband's thrilled to death, you know, and all that. But yet, you know, the brain fog is still going.
Right.
And so, you know, it's literally whack-a-mole until it's not.
Yeah.
And then it starts coming together. And I tell patients, and it's the same with homes, I would think. I don't know. You know, you're 60 years old, ma'am. We've got 6 decades of dysfunction. It's going to take me longer than 6 months or even a year to get this cleared up. But man, you're going to start feeling better. But there's going to be, you know, it's going
Change
to
of
take,
habits.
you bet.
Yeah.
And so on that visit, with that first visit, they get a big notebook. You know, they also get my book as well.
Let's see
on the
what that
first
book
visit.
looks like.
Woo-wee! Look at that.
Wild and
Number
well,
one,
everybody.
multiple times on Amazon.
On Amazon?
Yeah, on my categories. All my categories, number one. It continues to go number one as I'm on different podcasts or whatever,
Right.
you know, whatever happens.
Obviously, after this podcast, it's probably going to go through the
It'll
roof
probably
because
go
we have
number
such a
one
huge
on
audience.
all of Amazon because, you know, there's billions of books on Amazon. And yeah, I did get up to number 2,000 on all of Amazon, which is a big deal on opening day.
That
or
is,
the day
absolutely.
it was released. But
Wild and well, everybody.
all that
Look it
wild
up.
and well. Danny, 6 common sense steps to radical healing. It's a common sense book because this stuff is common sense.
Yeah.
Right? But what I was saying is they get a big notebook. They get a notebook that has you on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a list of all my favorite providers in it. They
Right.
get it. They get it. And it says environmental. There's only one. You're the only one in it. But, you know, there's multiple dentists, multiple chiropractors, you know, because there's not one fit for everybody.
Right.
And unless it's you. And
Yeah.
then it is.
I'll
It's
take
Dr.
that.
House. I mean, you can't. I mean, you got to call the doc, right? And so, but they get that, and then they get a whole handout of what is gluten and tons of education because this is overwhelming for people. Overwhelming, you know, and inflammation is the root of 100% of all chronic lifestyle diseases. It is
absolutely.
very rare in medicine where you can say always or 100%. But you can with inflammation. It is the root of your joint pain, or your arthritis, your thyroiditis. Itis means inflammation. Sinusitis, plantar fasciitis, vasculitis, gastritis. That's an inflammatory response to something.
And the thyroid's the first target,
You bet it is.
right? Because it's vascular and it's metabolically active.
You bet. It is
And-
the number one most metabolically active organ. They call it the master gland for a reason. You know, you can't live without this.
Yeah.
If I had my arm cut off, I could live without one arm. You know, I'm left-handed, so hopefully it'd be this arm. If that happened, you live without a leg, you can live without an ear. You live without things.
Yeah.
Many things. But you cannot live without your thyroid. You
Yeah.
have to be medicated for the rest of your life if you do not have a thyroid.
Right.
And so we protect this with all our might. It does. Radiation, you know, emotions, toxins, heavy metals, mold, I'm sure mold, you know, right here, this thyroid. People do not realize how important it is.
Yeah.
And when it is not functioning right, when it is hypothyroid, sluggish,
Right.
you're going to gain weight and you're going to have dry skin and, you know, all the things, constipation, fatigue, brain fog, and then hyperthyroid, exact same.
The cortisol.
You bet.
Right.
And cortisol. The gut affects the adrenals, which are your major glands to create cortisol, to make cortisol, right? Your stress hormone.
Right.
Cortisol, epinephrine, all of your stress hormones in there. And then your gut affects the adrenals. The adrenals affect the thyroid. The thyroid affects the hormones. It works from the basement up.
Yeah.
And so, but it's all connected.
Yeah.
And it's rare that we get every ball in the air perfectly and everybody's juggled up gorgeous, you know, but sometimes it happens.
What we find in our side and what I've talked about with other doctors is that when we get an environmental issue that affects the body, it disrupts a lot of these things. So whether it's mycotoxins, which we've talked about, whether it's just the mold itself, whether it's other environmental issues, and then once we start to disturb or affect, it's almost like a fake response that the body has. It's confused. And once it's confused, it can drive you guys nuts, because even if the numbers are good, it doesn't always mean the numbers that they're still not an issue.
Absolutely.
There's always that little hint of something that says, these are right, but that's not right. And it's almost like it's a fake way to look at, as long as these markers are good. It's not always the case, is it? It's not always A to B.
Well, that's why patients come to see functional medicine doctors and nurse practitioners, because my labs are normal, Dani. My doctor says my labs are normal.
Right. I hear that a lot.
Eat better and exercise. Well, you got to know how to read between the lines on this. And that's when we get into the environmental stuff, right? Then something's going on. Stress. I mean, it could be everything we talked about in the first episode. Right. You've got to know how to read between the lines. A normal thyroid lab is not necessarily normal for people, right? And these ranges are just ridiculous on
what
so
they
we
call
could do a
normal
whole
now.
show
right.
on, they just raised the homocysteine ranges. Homocysteine is a cardiovascular inflammatory marker, right? Associated with methylation and B vitamins and how your body methylates and detoxes on its own. Homocysteine is a big predictive marker for inflammation, and they just raised the range. And I looked at it, and they didn't even tell us, Quest Labs. So now it's up to like 13.9, which doesn't mean anything for your viewers, but that's like through the roof. But now that's normal. That's normal.
Right.
As we get sicker, our blood pressure values, our blood pressure normals go up, right?
Right.
Our lab values go up because we're trying to meet that sick population.
Yeah.
What?
Well, but the question is, what is that influence? And to me, I believe that we don't have healthy homes. And so if the environment is now normal, that's our environment and that's healthy, now we have to compensate for the body. That's what I'm seeing.
That's exactly right.
If we're not addressing these concerns, now we're trying to make up for it on the labs to say, well,
That's
okay,
right.
most of the national average is now this, so that must be right. It's not changing their quality of life.
And do you know how many people, and I know you hear this, I know you do, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I have so many patients that I say, listen, you got to call Barry. I'm telling you, and they tell me, the patients, whether it's a man or a woman, I smell something, I believe it's there, I just believe I have mold, but the spouse isn't on board with this.
Yeah.
They don't believe it. You see that, I'm sure, when you walk in.
Yeah.
But I've had many patients come back to me and say, my spouse was there when Barry was there, and he made it quite clear that, you know what, in fact, I'm not crazy, and we do have a mold problem.
Yeah. When you give people
it may
numbers,
not affect him.
it's huge.
Yes.
It's like, look, there's the number.
Yeah, it's like changing diets. Oftentimes I have one spouse who fights, and if a woman has a husband who is not on board with cleaning the diet up, it is so much more difficult for her to get healthy.
Yeah.
Because this really does take a village, right? And she's going to have to cook 3 meals now for them, right? No, absolutely not. And she's working full time. But, the partner has got to be on board with this healing as well. This literally, this is a family thing if you've got a partner. And it is for you too. They've got to be on board to be able to do this.
Yeah, it's a process for both of us. And most people think that they're just going to go and they're going to get a prescription, or because historically, that's the way the medical community worked. You go to the doc and then they give you, take one of these things, or you're going to be fine. And that is not at all how it works. And our homes were different back then, too. There was a lot more dilution with fresh air, right? So we weren't stuck with everything to the degree that we're stuck with it now. So our exposure to contaminants is through the roof right now.
Something? I think I read this correctly, and I could be wrong. The average American spends 90% of their time indoors. Is that right?
Especially since COVID.
You bet.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. That is criminal.
Yeah.
It is so easy to walk outside. If you live in a house, now if you're in an apartment, I get all that. It's more difficult to go put your feet on the earth.
Yeah.
Just putting your feet on the earth in the morning and in the evening is a game changer for so many things. Sleep, anxiety, right? Irritability, all the things.
Yeah.
God,
it's grounding.
those animals don't have anxiety.
No.
For a reason. They
The ones
don't
in your
wear
house
big
do
tennis
sometimes.
shoes. That's right. They don't wear big tennis shoes, right? They're not out there in the field having a panic attack with a bunch of horses around them trying to calm them down, right? Because their feet are to the earth and their face
I
is
could
to
just see animals all, oh, my chest is so tight.
It's okay. It's all right. Just breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe, Nellie. Just breathe.
Are you feeling stressed?
Yes.
2 times?
But,
No.
you know, I'm dead serious about it. People who live at the ocean, people who live at the sea with the negative ions from the sun, the salt,
Yeah.
the sea, the sand, the suicide rates are less,
Yeah.
right? The homicide rates are less,
Right.
less anxiety, less depression. They don't wear shoes. Their feet are on the earth, their faces to the sun. I mean, this was designed intentionally, the sun going up and the sun going down.
That
And
circadian
again,
rhythm.
if
Yeah.
you've got a sick house, you need to be outside as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out of the exposure.
You bet.
Yep. Get some good exposure.
Get some good exposure.
Yeah.
That's right. So, you know, it's a big process what we do, everything from inflammation to oxidative stress, addressing it. I mean, if you are a newborn, many of them are born with, you know, inflammation,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, 'cause
trauma.
it passes through.
You bet it
That's
does.
right.
You bet it
So do
does.
the mycotoxins.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yes.
do. We've got evidence of that. So imagine that the mycotoxins, the way it disrupts everything, we put everything in oxidative stress. We disrupt all the thyroid right off the bat, and we pass it along. The ladies, and then oxidative stress ruins thyroids.
You bet it does.
Right, damages those
You
cells.
bet it does.
Tell me how that works.
And then we end up with Hashimoto's thyroid. We'd end
Right.
up with these big, inflamed thyroids, nodules, goiters,
Yeah.
thyroid cancer. If you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis,
Yeah.
you have a 30% higher rate of thyroid cancer
Wow.
than anyone else. Just by having that one autoimmune disease. And thyroid cancer is on the rise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those nodules, that's a red flag that something's going on in there, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people who have thyroid nodules and they don't have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, but that
Right.
oxidative stress and you know, a Hashimoto's thyroid looks like a moth has eaten it. It's
Right.
called heterogeneous, and it literally looks like a moth. Completely opposite of hyperthyroid, Graves' disease,
Right,
which is
right.
real red and inflamed, and that's inflammation also. But the oxidative stress, you know, and so people say, well, how do you protect the thyroid, right? Well, you don't put anything near your thyroid. So we bring it down with the diet, right? The, you know, clean diet, clean water, stress, all the things we do. But then what you put on your body, you put in your body within 26 seconds flat.
Yeah.
This is the largest organ in
Yeah.
the whole body.
Yeah.
And you put that toxic lotion on there. You put that toxic perfume right here, sprayed right here. Where do we spray perfume?
Yeah.
No, we don't. Don't ever do it again.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. My sickest patients are nail technicians and hairdressers.
Yep.
They are just like this, right over all those chemicals.
And I've
Head
got
down,
them in
here's
their basement too. They'll put them in as like their own business in their house.
Yes.
And then they don't do any ventilation. It's not a commercial building application. And they are sick. They call me because they think it's mold. And I'm like, I go down there. I'm going, oh, I can't breathe.
I can't
It's
breathe
so
in
much
that.
chemical
Yeah.
in that locale. It's just how it smells.
And look at that. They're right over their head,
Yep.
right? They're putting that toxic hair color
Yep.
on people's hair. And they're all day, and they're breathing, and then they're, you know, whatever they do to nails. I don't get my nails done, but, you know, all that. And they're breathing every single bit of that.
Yep.
Here's the nose, here's the thyroid. I mean, it's a proximity problem. And it goes from the cleaning supplies, the lotion, the makeup, the hair color, the lipstick, the nail polish, the perfume, shampoo. I mean, you name it. It needs to clean up little by little to decrease that inflammation
Yeah.
in your body. And this is a lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
not just like a one and done. This is a lifestyle that as we run out of something toxic, we bring something better in.
Yeah.
You know?
Imagine
It's-
being that intentional.
Can you intention?
Yes.
Intention. So that means the first time you go to the grocery or the first time you go to buy your supplies and all that, it's going to take you twice as long because you're going to find out how toxic it is and how greenwashed everything is, right?
Yeah.
They say it's fabulous, right? It's Myers Green Day or whatever they call that stuff. It's garbage. It is one of the most greenwashed companies out there, meaning it looks clean. They say it's clean. There's nothing healthy in it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
what you're washing your hands with or whatever, cleaning
Right.
your dishes with. So it's baby steps to bring down the inflammation,
Yeah.
the oxidative stress. Get some good things like some glutathione in your system and some good vitamin D, although ideally we would get our D from the sun, but most people wear clothes outside, and the HOA, you know, the homeowner association, they don't like you out there without anything on for 45 minutes a day. And, you know, the problems
Or
happen
5.
and they have a meeting and, you know, gosh, Barry's out there without anything on anymore. Danny said he had to lay on the ground for 10 minutes and naked. And,
Doing snow angels.
but
grass.
ideally, that's what we would do.
Yeah.
Right. And we
Right.
would get the sun.
Right.
And, you know, the sun block is another thing that has caused a lot of problems. I mean, we
Yep.
could talk about so many things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you think about the chemicals in sunscreen creating oxidative stress and inflammation in your body.
Tell me about, since we're talking about putting stuff on you, I have a lot of clients, and I'm sure you have patients, the essential oils.
Yeah.
Stuff. So I know there's benefits.
You bet.
And a lot of them promote that.
You bet.
But when they start diffusing it and putting it in the air, you know what I tell them?
What do you tell them?
Don't
Don't do it.
Because the particulates are in the air. All that stuff that we talked about that we see when the sun comes through there, whatever's on that, it's an oil. It's a surfactant. And if we're putting a surfactant in the air, even though it has good properties, it's still sticky. And when you stick to all the stuff that you're already breathing, especially in the wintertime when everything gets lighter, now you're putting content on the sticky stuff. You're breathing it in, and it's hard. It stays in you longer on your soft tissue, and you have longer time of exposure, like dosage, of whatever's on that particulate. So you may have good properties with that, but you also hang on to the stuff you don't want to. So if you're not doing things holistically in the house, and you got numbers that you need to bring down, that doesn't magically
I had
do that.
no idea.
Yeah.
I just learned something new. Never, ever makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but I tell
Perfect.
people, rub it on, do your thing.
And for the thyroid, frankincense. Frankincense is number one for
I do
thyroid.
that. I do that on the little roof of my tongue. Yeah.
Well, excellent.
Yeah.
But also we have studies with it on cancer too, breast cancer, like literally on the
Really?
cancer. Absolutely. There are clinical trials, small ones because it's oils. Nobody cares. But
Right, yeah.
I always tell patients, if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for you. Right?
good
I
one.
mean, it's as
We
simple
got to
as
get the
that.
myrrh. We got to get
Frankincense and myrrh on
That's
the
right.
thyroid and lemongrass. Those are the three
Really?
that are the most important oils for the thyroid. Now, I don't
know.
react to things, but some people may need a carrier oil like jojoba oil or even olive oil. Just put it in
Yeah.
there and then
If you're
you know,
Greek.
put it here. If you're Greek, olive oil
definitely.
everywhere. You can use it as a lube too. It's
listen to
fabulous.
that, honey? Right? Yeah.
Fabulous
Greek.
as a lube, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Olive oil.
All right.
I tell my patients this. I mean, why would I know? I'm single. I don't know. But anyway, you could don't use KY jelly ever. I mean, that is one of the worst things you can ever use as a lube. You want to use something, one ingredient, olive oil, jojoba oil, CBD, phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
That's a whole other, like that
whole
CBD
different-
thing is
That's
like,
a totally opposite part of the thyroid. But yeah, the CBD thing is a whole nother show.
it is.
To talk
Yeah, there's
about.
so much.
Endocannabinoids, let me tell you, they're on every cell. We have a receptor. We have a locking key on every cell in our body for endocannabinoids. And so
Interesting.
when they are out of balance, that's when oxidative stress happens. I mean, we've got incredible research on CBD and endocannabinoids. Yes. But anyway, the oils for the thyroid, good, just don't diffuse it. Man, I've learned something new. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Now, if their house is like spectacular and they've got all the filtration in their house and they're getting stuff out of the air, and I tell them, like, if you're sick and your doc says, go ahead and diffuse that because you're ill and you need like a night with.
Yes.
What are they? What's one of the ones?
Thieves is
Thieves
Young Living, and then you've got On Guard with doTERRA.
There's
Those
another
are the
one.
two that are your big for your immune
Are they?
system. Well, the On Guard, doTERRA and Young Living.
Okay.
And then
All
there's other brands out there too, but those are the two big ones. Thieves and On Guard are the big ones for immune system.
And I'm like, because again, I'm not the doctor. Because when the doctor tells them to do something, I have to, again, this is that bridge, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, yeah, but your house, is it conducive to that situation? Are you going to hang on to other contaminants because of it or not? And if their numbers are great as far as their particulate counts, knock yourself out. right? Don't do it every day because they want to just smell stuff every day.
Yeah, you want the smell.
But like if you're sick and eucalyptus, that's what I was thinking of.
Eucalyptus.
A lot of people use that when they're sick too.
Yeah, they do.
And I've done that, right? But it's like for a night or two, and then usually we're done. But
if you can put it on the bottom of your feet, it's one of the best things. And then put socks on, man.
Correct.
And I mean, it just same thing with garlic oil or onions if you're sick, or magnesium if you can't sleep. The bottom of the feet.
I've heard that. Yeah.
The bottom of the feet, and put your socks on, and you'll sleep like a log.
Yeah. Just because I'm curious, what's your thought on that? You've heard that castor oil thing with the liver?
Absolutely.
Is that a cool thing to do?
Well, absolutely. We sell the best one, in my opinion, Queen of the Thrones, who she got sued by Queen of Thrones. I mean,
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
So her name of her
Really?
company originally was Queen of Thrones.
Yeah.
The throne, the toilet, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
it is. So Marisol, who owns it, I've known her for years, who owns Queen of Thrones, castor oil, absolutely. But you got to be very careful with castor oil, right? Okay, so Jesus Christ, it's in the Bible, castor oil is.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I mean, and again, if it's good enough for Jesus. But you have to have an organic castor oil because it's like CBD. It will get through that system and through that skin, and it carries inflammatory properties. It'll pick up all the heavy metals and all the things. It needs to be organic, cold pressed, and it needs to be in a dark glass bottle, not plastic. Like CBD, castor oil will pick up all those toxins from that plastic bottle. So it's got to be glass. It needs to be organic. It needs to be clean, filtered castor oil. And yes, on the liver or the abdomen, but on the liver with a pack, man, sleeping, period cramps, bowel movements, just everything. And we use it we can put it on the thyroid. You can mix your oils with that, put on the thyroid for just pain in general. Like I had golfer's elbow here, and not from golfing, from lifting weights, but anyway, I use castor oil, helped tremendously. People have knee pain. Oh, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Some people just put it in their belly button.
Yeah.
Right? Just put it in their belly button
I've heard of
and
that,
do it. Oh, it's fantastic. And it's not a fad. It's not new. It's 2,000 years old.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's something.
Interesting.
Don't drink it. Whatever you do.
No.
Don't drink it. No. You're going to be sick as a dog. Diarrhea like you've never seen.
Well, some people take a little shot of this, or take a little.
Don't dare take the castor oil shot.
Don't do it, guys.
Don't do it.
Kids, don't do it.
Don't do it to go into labor.
Oh, man.
I mean, have sex if you want to go into labor. There's nothing better that's going to put you into labor than an orgasm, period. So if you got anybody out there,
Kids, cover your ears.
Oh, sorry. Well, maybe. Well, it's the truth. Remember it for when your people get pregnant.
That's right.
I mean, so.
I love it.
As a midwife.
That's going to be the next episode. Okay. Keep the kids, away, get them and have them play their video games or whatever. Not that I want to promote that.
But there's so many things you can do to bring down inflammation, bring down oxidative stress, and again, it's common sense. It's common sense, practical medicine. That's what it says on the back of our uniforms at work, our shirts. Common sense, practical medicine. This says common sense steps to radical healing.
Let's see the book again.
Isn't that nice? It's very nice. And I'm
It's
just
a
redneck girl from Gilbertsville, Kentucky. This is small town. I wrote it so that everybody could read it very fast, from somebody who maybe didn't graduate high school but doesn't feel good, needs to get well, to a Harvard-educated doc. There's 360 medical references in here. It's not just my opinion saying, whoa, cut out gluten. Gluten's bad. No. I've got multiple references on, the inflammatory process of gluten and whatever. It is a fantastic book. The hardest thing I ever did was write that book. I thought being a single mom was hard. People say, how long did it take you to write that book, Dani? 55 years it took to write, because this is 55 years of childhood trauma. Yep. This was real hard, and it was a hard thing. Going back and reliving all that, but I'd done a lot of trauma work. And if you don't like to read, it's on Audible. It was number one on Audible on its section as well. And I read it. So I was in one of these studios for 22 hours.
Oh, that is great.
Reading this book. Wow. And so if you don't like my accent, don't listen to it, because it's a redneck accent. And you know, and I burped in it once, and I farted. So we have a
Well, that just means you're
we have
processing stuff.
a whole little area of bloopers. Audible let me do it. They'd never done a blooper section.
That's
in
so
it.
funny.
Because, you know, I mean,
You're being
so
real.
serious.
That's right.
And this is serious stuff. Getting well is serious. But, man,
You got to have fun along the way.
you got to have joy.
Yeah.
And so many people don't have joy.
Yeah.
You know, they don't feel well. So I understand that. But, you know, there's hope. There's always hope. But hope is not a strategy, man. You got to have a strategy. And that's why, you know, you do have to be methodical about this and not just harry-carry.
Yeah.
I mean, I look like I'm nuts. I probably am. But I am very methodical about how I work with patients.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have a lot of time to waste. People don't come to me because they feel good.
Right.
They don't come there for kicks and giggles and say, Danny, just check my labs. I
Right.
feel great. I had one from Tupelo, Mississippi last month. He said, I feel great, but my wife wants me to come. Okay, that's great. Good.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we find on him. But, you know, it's just like you. Nobody calls you for fun.
No.
Nobody wants to call you.
I'm pretty fun.
Well, you're great,
But
nobody
that's
wants
not why they call.
to remediate their house
No.
or have this done. Nobody wants to come and do what I do.
Right.
I mean, and I don't take that lightly. I mean, that is an honor and a privilege that people call us
That's right.
and pay money out of their back left hip pocket to get better. And
Yeah.
I don't ever want to get so big that I forget that.
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
Yeah,
It is
it
a
is.
big deal.
It is. Very, very thankful for our blessings, right?
Amen.
In our business, in our
Amen.
own lives.
Amen.
And we're doing the same things that we're telling our clients to do. We're trying to fight the good fight for our own bodies and our own
bet.
homes.
You have to walk the walk, let me tell
That's
you.
right.
And that is one thing that Dr. Dan Kalb said to me 15 years ago when I took my food sensitivity test and said, I'm not doing this. And I threw it on the floor. I said, that's ridiculous. That is everything I eat. And he said, let me tell you. Well, he was kinder than this, but basically this is what I heard. He said, if you're going to work here and you're asking patients to do this,
Right.
you're going to walk the walk.
That's right.
Otherwise, you don't have a job.
That's right.
And I had $200,000 in student loans at that time. And I thought, all right, I can give up eggs if I have to. I mean, I got to pay my loans back. I can't. But it was the best lesson I ever had. If you have a healthcare provider who's not walking the walk and they're drinking a Diet Coke in between patients and they're eating Arby's, and I'm mentioning it because my mom's doctor that's standing in the hallway doing that when I was with him one time, then you need a new healthcare provider. That is not a healthcare provider.
That's common sense.
You bet it is.
Guys, common sense from Dani Williamson for the body, common sense for the environmental. Let's build that bridge.
Let's do it.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you so much. This has been I have so much fun hanging out with you.
I appreciate it. Well, we had fun together. We've had fun together through all the things
I
we've
know.
done.
It's so we'll do more.
Yeah,
and we got
I'll
a
see
Sunday
you
night
at the-
service,
well,
maybe.
Sunday night service. We'll do a
We'll
Sunday
talk
night
about
service on
another
our
one of
YouTube
those.
channel.
Yep.
Dani Williamson Wellness, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the things. At TikTok. Oh my Lord. TikTok, yes. And but we also we'll do a Sunday night service together again.
Okay.
But we'll be together at the clinic crawl, at the fall crawl.
Yes,
September
we'll have a
27th.
show in there for sure.
Yep.
And we'll see you online or we'll see you in person.
That's right.
Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for coming.
That's right. Stay wild.
That's right.